Right. Hi, Bantala. Good evening to you all.
Good evening, sir.
Right. Today only you logged in, right? So no worries. So we have completed the first lesson, not the.
Yes, sir.
So it's easy for you, I think. Now you can solve most of the questions. Neither Putala, what about your school? So did your teacher started the lesson or it's going on?
Teacher still in the first lesson, sir.
Still in the first lesson. So is it easy for you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Right. So today, so in between sometimes others will log in. So no worries. We'll start the second chapter, right? That's about configuring and formatting a computer, right? So this one is going to be a sort of practical session. Puta, are you using a computer? Do you have computer at home?
I'm using the laptop, sir. I don't
You
have
are using
computer.
the laptop, so that's perfectly fine, right? So with Windows um, 10 or Windows 11 operating system?
Windows 10.
10, no? Right. So at the moment, actually, I'm using Windows 11. So the features might, all right, Manuladu is back, right? Okay. So, right. Manuladu? Right. Okay. Okay. Puta, I'm just going to start session 2, your lesson 2, right? So it's sort of a practical session. Um, right? So don't worry if you don't have computer at home, you can still try these practicals in your computer lab. Okay. Uh, so that's about configuring and formatting a computer, right? So till today, we are talking about some sort of hardware and sort of input processing output circle, the functions of a computer, and we were discussing about the importance of the number systems, right? Uh, so what about Manu Ladua? So your teacher started the first lesson or is it finished or what's the status?
No, sir.
Not yet started, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, no
Yes.
problem. Right. Uh, you understood our first lesson, right? Number systems. Dua? Any doubts in your first in our first lesson? Number systems. So anyway, uh, right. So I was talking about the initial scene, right? So when we purchase a computer, so we understood the behind technology, input output devices, how processing happens, about the storages and about the communication devices, maybe in your previous grades, right? So today we're going to start sort of formatting a computer. So what do you mean by format? So there are certain parameters. So first of all, when we purchase a new computer, so we need to uh, set up according to our preferences. So what are our preferences? Hibabuta, can you tell me one preference? So as a, let's say Sri Lankan, tell me one unit preference.
The time.
Time, that's correct, but it's not so, you're not so unique. Time zone, yes, we got time zone. So it's common, maybe to even to India itself, and there are some countries cross that line, so it's not common thing. Let's say our currency, that's rupees, Sri Lankan rupees, that's a preference, right? And uh,
Sir,
they,
in India also they use rupees. Sir.
yes, but I will show you the time zone today, right? So I will share the screen and I'll show you time zone. So that it's a mechanism where we can manage the time differences across the globe, right? So basically, we use Greenwich Mean Time (GMT). That's a zeroth position, right? So we keep that position as a reference, right? And accordingly, they have divided entire globe into the zones for easy administration, right? So then we can refer the particular line falls on that zone, right? So that countries can use that their time zone. So it's very easy to manage the global communication, right? So there are so many time zones. Some time zones actually in Sri Lanka, so they refer it's Colombo time zone. So it's plus 5:30. That means we need to add. So Greenwich Mean Time, that's from actually that goes via London, right? Um, that's the zeroth time zone, and right, and we need to add 5:30 to get the Sri Lankan time. So that's how we manage the time. So I will show you one image and I will explain you the time zone things. Anyway, so this is not about the geography thing, right? Even though it's a geography related thing, but here you need to understand different countries got different time zone. Maybe some clustered countries, they got the same time zone, but if that particular time zone exceeded, so they will get new time zone, right? So maybe the time zone goes where the cities falls on the cities, maybe countries, maybe islands, likewise. So they get sort of different time zones. It's if I'm not mistaken, they're divided into half an hour time zone, right? Plus 5:30, plus 6, 6:30, likewise. So we'll learn about those things, right? Right. So when we purchase new computer, Putala, අපි අලුත් computer එකක් ගත්තාම, right? We need to adjust certain parameters. So that's our preference. Maybe our language, right? So let's say Sinhalese is our default language, our country mother language, but so here computers actually it's not so developed to use using Sinhala. There are certain keyboards, right, where we can type Sinhalese and Tamil letters, but still we prefer to use English as a general our computer language, right? There are certain countries, as an example, let's say France, so they can use their own language. They can format into their own, they can set their own language. So the computer menus, all the descriptions, dialog boxes, settings will appear in their regional language, maybe French, right? Maybe German, the Japanese. So developed countries, they use, actually they want to have their own language to keep their uniqueness, right? So even Sinhala operating system, Windows operating system developed in Sinhala. So there's a Sinhala version, but very it's very uncommon, not regularly used, because we can't do much with Sinhala language, right? So Even you can set the language preference in Google, or maybe some different websites support Sinhala language, right? So it's so complicated. We are not used to those words, right? Single word. So our preference always goes to English, and that's a universal language where so we can easily understand. So sometimes when I'm in office, actually I get some computers from different languages, right? To maybe get some assistance, right? So sometimes we'll be in very trouble. It's very troublesome, but by practice we know what to do, right? Looking at the picture and all, we know what to do. So it's like automatically we'll uh, do some adjustments, right? Do some changes. That's based on the practice. So if you have sort of practice, you can use that navigation to make the changes. Or else you can use sort of now there are some tools like Google Translator. So it can capture image from different language, and it can change it to your preferred language, right? Have you seen Google Translator? Sivabuta, Manladu? Have you
Yes,
seen Google Translator, right? So if you have Japanese
Yes,
text,
sir.
right? If you want to convert that into English, so you can easily use Google Translator. That's a fantastic tool. So you just want to aim your camera, just open the camera in that tool, right? Yes, Puta?
so I was getting stuck. I couldn't hear.
Let me check. Is it okay now?
Okay, now okay, sir.
Now okay, no? Right. So I was talking about the Google Translator, right? If you have some maybe different language text, so you can focus the camera, right? Then it will translate that to uh, your preferred language, right? So these are actually fantastic developments. So it will enable us to right have better communication, right? So no language barriers, um, nothing. Just uh, like entire globe will be like a one family, no? So they have unique tools. Technology can be used to eliminate the differences between all the nations, maybe, right? So they are developing utilities from different languages, so we can make use in our own language. So that's a sort of introduction, right? So if you take new computer, we need to first what we need to do, we need to install operating system, right? Without an operating system, we can't actually work in the computer. So operating system basically facilitates uh, computer user to make use the computing capabilities, right? So it's an interface between user and the hardware. So we can make use the computer. Uh, we can uh, uh, we can use computer technology, or maybe we can use some tools. Maybe you can use software with the base of operating system. So first of all, we need to have operating system. Still, it's operating system is a software. So we need to install on top of hardware to make use the computer capabilities, right? So it's like this. So hardware, you know that it's like the devices which you can touch and feel. So it's related to computers, right? There are certain hardware here. Hardware. So tell me a few hardware items, computer hardware. Manuladu, Ibaputa. So tell me few hardware items. Any idea?
Uh, uh, uh,
Puta, you are just keeping. So maybe a problem is with my network.
uh, CPU.
Yes. And so all the devices you learned so far, input devices, output devices, communication devices, memory storages, memory devices, storage devices, those are hardware items. So those are actually we can touch and feel, right? So any hardware, right? So on top of this hardware, to make use, so maybe there are a few hardwares attached here, keyboard, maybe mouse. So imagine this is system unit, right? So maybe printer, maybe monitor, right? And so maybe scanner, right? So now these are hardware, let's say, attached to the system unit. And maybe hard disk drives, right? Speakers, right? Disk drives here, right? So much of devices here. So it's attached to system unit. So inside the system unit, the motherboard and the CPU is here, right? Motherboard and CPU. Now, let's say now we assembled a computer. So everything connected now. So can we use this computer still? Still we cannot use, right? No one knows what to do. It's already connected and we have given the power. Now, we need someone to make use of these devices, right? For that, we need to install operating system. We need to put, right? Operating system. It's a software idea, right? So it's a software. So here we'll install operating system here. Actually, it will reside in the internal hard disk, right? Operating system, OS, right? So we'll install. Now, on top of this hardware, operating system layer will come. Operating system, right? Let's say this is hardware, right? So on top of this hardware, CPU also one hardware, right? Right. Motherboard is one hardware, right? Right. On top of this hardware, operating system, we can install operating system. It's a software. Now, here comes the computer operator or the user, computer operator. So this is liveware, man, someone who is using the computer. So this user can make use this hardware and we can start computing with the help of operating system. Otherwise, we can't directly talk to the hardware. So we need someone in between to take our messages, right? So once you install operating system, right, it will understand all these connected devices. So it will understand, right? Operating system, first of all, when we are installing the operating system, it will understand all the connected hardware, right? So plenty of hardware is available, input devices, plenty of input devices and CPU, right? Numerous number of CPUs are available in the market, and motherboards, different vendors, they build motherboards, and here, and displays, CPUs, mouse, different printers, different speakers, right? And different storages, maybe pen drive. So now operating system knows about all those things, right? With the help of some sort of files that's called drivers, it can understand the behavior of each of these hardware. Otherwise, it can't handle no. දැන් නිකන් operating system එක නිකන් class එකේ teacher වගේ, just like teacher. She knows, or maybe he knows about you all, right? So operating system knows about all the hardware devices connected. So now it can manage. So if user wants to send printouts, so we just need to tell the operating system handles that call. So through the application, maybe we need to take printout. So operating system knows about the printer and all. So it will take the required input from the user and it will guide that request to the printer, right? So if you want to see show something in the monitor, so still operating system can manage. Maybe you want to do some performance tune up. So different things, right? So our second lesson, we are talking in the first chapter actually, we are talking about the operating system capabilities. So hardware still capable of handling the time, but operating system knows about the world clock formats, time zones, currency, right? Where it will provide all the information to the relevant application, right? And it can manage even your hardware data and times as well, right? That's required. So computer should know the executing date and time, no? So operating system. So this is wonderful person, right? So there are so much of operating system. Maybe you have learned about operating system in grade 6 and 7, right? There are so much of operating systems available, right? So what are the operating systems you know? So Windows, that's from Microsoft. So we got Windows. Sibaputa, what are the operating systems you know? What's the operating system installed in your computer?
Windows 10.
Windows 10, right? Manulya, you know about operating system? So what's the operating system you know? Windows something? Manulya? Windows 7. Okay. Before Windows 10, actually Windows 7 came. That's good. So what's that? Yes, Puta. Linux. Yeah, that also operating system, Linux. Right? There are so much of flavors, right? So Linux variations, Ubuntu Linux, Mint Linux, Fedora. So likewise,
Android.
there are, sorry?
Android.
That's mobile operating system. I'll come to that later, right? So actually these are PC operating systems. So Android is actually an operating system used for mobile phone. It's Linux based, that's true, but it's a mobile application, a mobile operating system, right? So Linux, maybe Fedora, maybe Red Hat. So Microsoft basically use their brand name as Windows, right? So we got Windows 7, Windows 10. The latest one is Windows 11, which I'm using now, right? And before Windows 7, we got Windows. Actually, Windows comes from Windows 3. Windows 1 also there, I remember, but it was not so familiar. So the most familiar one is Windows 3 and 3.1. Then came Windows 2000, sorry, Windows XP, Windows 95 later on, then Windows 98, then Windows XP, right? In between we got Windows Me, that's Windows Millennium. Then we got Windows XP. Afterward, it came to Windows 7. Then Windows 10. So Windows 10, there are different versions, and Windows 11 now it's going on. See their journey came from Windows 3. Actually, they started from disk operating system. That's DOS. That's no graphics. So it's text-based operating system. And Windows 1, 2, let's ignore that. Windows 3, 3.1, 95, 98, Me, XP, this is sort of a failure operating system. So it was not so popular, right? In Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 10. So from here, Windows became very popular. Windows XP was very popular operating system. Still some organizations use Windows XP, right? That's very powerful operating system. And here we got Windows 2000 also. So I can't exactly remember the date, right? Then Windows 7, that was fantastic operating system, right? With so many features, right? Still we can see Windows 7, right? Still we can see XP now gradually they are taking out. Even Windows 7 they are not supporting, but still Windows 7 is available. Windows 10 still on live, right? And Windows 11, right? That's the latest one. We don't know about Windows 12 or something else will come, right? Maybe different flavors from Windows 11. Afterward, maybe they will introduce Windows 12 or something else, right? So Linux, actually Linux created from operating system called Unix. That is again just like DOS, right? These are not graphical, so you can't use mouse and all. Just you need to type. That's text-based operating system, right? You don't have any visual thing, only the texting. So you can use, right? Still, it's operating system, right? User can do some work with the hardware, right? And they are limited. It's limited capacities, right? So Unix, actually Linux derived from Unix, just like Windows. So Unix, it's derived from Unix, Linux. So Fedora, Red Hat, maybe Mint, hundreds of Unix flavors, right? So by the time, as Ibaputa said, so they developed mobile operating systems as well. So Android, that's from Google, very famous operating system, mobile operating system. And what's the other thing?
Sir, is Mac OS a mobile operating system?
No. Right. That's good. You remember that, right? So here, so Putala, just like general PCs, we got different kind of PCs that's called Apple Macintosh computers. Those are actually PCs, right? So here, let me get space from here, right? Right. So organization called Apple, right? They also develop operating system for PCs. These operating systems for PCs, right? Oh, you can't see, right? Right, PC. These operating systems for computers. So Apple company got, right, different kind of PC type, right? So their hardware also different than the general things, right? And it's very capable of handling the graphic design. It's so popular. So it's very beautiful operating system, right? Apple. So from the beginning, so they got very less market share, but it was so popular among the graphic designers. So you can do some artwork especially using this Apple PC. So their operating system is Apple Macintosh. I'm not pretty sure about the spelling. Apple Macintosh. Right? So you're talking about iOS. So that's actually for mobile, for Apple mobile, iOS from Apple. So they develop macOS here. macOS for Macintosh PC, Mac operating system. So their brand name is Mac operating system. Here we got Linux, we got Microsoft, that's so popular. We're going to study, right? We're not going to study these, the format. So all these computers got the same features, right? Then computer. So first you need to set your preference, like time zone, you need to adjust the time, you need to adjust the currencies, and you need to adjust your number format, everything. So all these computers facilitate that one, right? I will show you. So I can't illustrate these things, I mean demonstrate, right? But Windows, we can demonstrate, right? So I can demonstrate because we don't have, if you want Linux operating system, so I will show you Linux operating system as well, but it will get, you might get confused, right? So all our lessons based on Windows, when they are printing the books, actually they got Windows 10. So most of your practicals are from Windows 10. So Hibabuta says you are using Windows 10 computer, right? So most of you can do same practical, right? So different things, right? Even if you take mobile phone, these are the basic operating systems you get, Android
Blackberry.
and BlackBerry. Puta, it's very popular, maybe a few decades to maybe last decade, right? But BlackBerry couldn't compete with the development of these operating systems. So gradually it ran out, right? BlackBerry, it was very fantastic of mobile operating system, right? At that time, technologically, it's so advanced. At that time, people could manage the emailing facilities, very convenient encrypted emails. So those are different things. So email facilities using BlackBerry operating system, right? So they got unique operating system and device, BlackBerry. And even Windows. So Microsoft came up with mobile operating system, that's Windows Mobile. This also again not popular. BlackBerry, for some time it was very popular, but gradually they ran out from the industry. They couldn't compete with the development of these two. So now basically these two are the best operating systems that they got the highest market share, right? iOS and Android were competing very closely, right? Maybe 50-50, right? I don't know the exact figures, but let's say 50-50, right? So and so Android, it's a free operating system again. So maybe different vendors, as example, if you say Samsung, so they developed mobile phones using Android. Maybe LG, they also get Android. It's a free operating system, and they can modify and sell it to the consumers. But iOS is a proprietary, so you need to buy Apple mobile phone to make use. Sorry, but I lost the connection. Right? You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So I was talking about this mobile operating system, right? So Android and iOS, it's so popular. Android, it's a free operating system, and Apple iOS, that's from Apple Incorporation. So it comes with the iPhone. It's called iPhone. Here you get different phones. Maybe Samsung phone, maybe LG phones, maybe HTC phones, maybe Honor, maybe there's so much of, maybe Oppo, right? Vivo. So among that, actually, Samsung is so popular, Nokia. So they also use Android phone, Android operating system. So they customize according to their capabilities. They maybe they have, if they have so much of good engineers, so they can customize. They can provide you so many features. But the core is Android, right? It's Android. And iOS now, we get Oxygen or something that's from Huawei, right? That's different again. So don't get complicated. So remember these things. So anyway, here, what's the thing we need to learn? Even to use mobile phone, right? On top of a mobile hardware, we need to install operating system, OS. This is mobile hardware, right? Here we need to install operating system. Then only you can make use the mobile phone. If you simply got mobile hardware, you can't do anything. So you need to install operating system, right? Here. See? If this is a hardware, right? You need to install operating system on top of this hardware to make your mobile phone similar. So here user comes here. So through the OS only we can control those hardware. Right? Here also, we need to install operating system on top of hardware. Then users can get the functionality of these devices, right? So, right. Both of you understood the concept, why we need operating system?
Yes, sir.
Right, good. Now, we'll exclusively see Windows 10. So anyway, I'm doing practicals with Windows 11. Those are pretty much same, right? So how Windows 11? So even if you use any of these operating system, you need to do this customization. Maybe you need to format the time zone. You need to set the currency. You need to file attribute. You need to understand the file attribute, right? Time zone, so much. So today we'll learn up to file management type, right? So let's share the screen. Hope all of you can see my screen now, right? So this is basically the desktop or the appearance of Windows 11 operating system, right? Right. What are the things we need to customize now? So according to your book, so let me wipe off this thing. Right. Hibaputa Manuladua. It's 8 o'clock, right? Okay. Right. So let's learn about the time zone. Right. Now you can see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. See, Putta. So if you take the world map, it's like this, no? So you can see all the countries, right? Here you can see this zeroth position, right? Uh, Here, right? And so this is not quite it says good images we can see. Okay. It's quite complicated, right? Okay, let's move into this itself. That one is quite complicated. So this is enough for the moment, right? Right. So here, see now here from to right side, right? So we'll add here 1 hour, 2 hours, right? From the zeroth position, right? So 3 hours, 4 hours, up to right 12 here, right? It goes up to 12 from this end. So now entire globe is covered. So they have divided into different time zone, right? So Sri Lanka, see here. So our country is here. So basically it's fallen here between 5 and 6. So our time zone like 5:30, right? So we need to add 5.5 hours to get the London time, Europe time here, right? So you can easily calculate. Now it's 8 o'clock. You can ask Google what's the London time now, right? See it here, 2:35, right? So it's so what's UTC time now we need to get. All right. See here. So it's changing. Now 8:06 here to evening 2:36. So different time zones. See here. Now, so we are in this country. So we need to adjust our computer times according to our correct time zone. Then only other countries can understand what's our timing, right? So let's see how to do that one. That's your first practical, right? So you can right click here, get adjust date and time, right? You will get this option. So use UTC plus 5:30. It's Sri Jayawardhanapura, right? That's Colombo time zone, right? Sri Jayawardhanapura, right? So here, date and time. So you need to get this date and time option here. Now you can see our time. It's 8:07 p.m. Wednesday, March, right? 27. So change date and time. So you can, there's an option to change date and time, right? Here you can change if you want, but now it's correctly synchronized with the global time. So no need to change. And the time zone. So here, see, here you can see all the time zones. See. So what's the 0th time zone? Put here. This plus 0. London. So that's the UTC time, universal time, that's 0th position. From 0th position, your left side goes to the other countries, northern countries, right? Western countries. And here, so if you add these things, so it goes to the eastern countries, eastern side, right? There are so much. So tell me any city you want to check the time zone.
Canada.
Canada. Okay, Manladu. Canada. So what's the famous city? Toronto, right?
Yes.
Right. Let's say Toronto time now. So it goes to the check whether Canada is or Toronto located here. US and Canada, see here. Right? And here, Central Time, -6. Central America, US and Canada, 7. It's such a big country. See here, right? Such a big country. So its time zone varies from Puta. Here, no? Canada is here, right?
Yes.
So see the time zone variation. It goes from -4 to -9, maybe -10, minus up to -11 it goes. Right? So different cities get different times. You understood this concept? Right? Even
Yes.
if you talk about Africa, so it's fallen between 0 and 3. So there's a 3-hour difference between Africa's northern side and the, western side and the eastern side. So if someone lives here, right, far eastern side, so he gets 3 hours different than the far western side person, right? So here in Sri Lanka, such a small country, we don't get that much difference. Wherever you go, your time is same. We no need to set the time zones. No need to change the times. It's very small country, right? So within our country, there are no time change. But if you check the America, there are different time zones, different times for different cities, right? If you are traveling from here, Toronto to Vancouver, right? So you need to adjust Vancouver time. So once you reach Vancouver, you need to change the time. So even you are flying from somewhere, Sri Lanka to Canada, so you need to adjust your time, right? So that's how the time zone works, right? So here, so we're talking about the time zone. So Canada. So Toronto is somewhere here, no? So it should be -5 time zone. It goes like -5. So if you're in Toronto, you need to set -5 US Canada. So let's see the time from Google. What's the Toronto time now? What's the Toronto? till morning 10 o'clock, right? Morning 10 o'clock. So it's like 8.5 hours. So we need to go here from here, right? So here. So we need to add 6 hours up to here, 0. Again, we need to add 5 hours, maybe totally 10.5 hours. So from here to 0, it's 5 hours, 5.5 hours, right? 5.5 hours. And here maybe 5 or 5.5 hours. So maybe up to 10 to 11 hours. So maybe 10.5 hours you need to add to our time to get the Toronto time. So that's how it works. So if you're traveling from Columbus to Toronto or Canada, right, you need to set your time. So the current time is here now, it's 10:41 in the morning. So it's still morning for them, right? So that change you can do it in computer. So here, right? So now computers are so smart enough. So once they connect to the internet, so the computers can see here, set the time zone automatically. See, there's an option to get the time zone automatically. If you are traveling, if you are frequent traveler, right? So here I'm not using that feature. You can make this on, right? So once you go to Canada or the Toronto and you connect to their internet, so that internet service provider will send you the time zone automatically. It will change accordingly. So no need to manually adjust like this, right? So you no need to manually adjust if you set it automatically. This is a feature from operating system feature, Puta. Right? So that maybe it's not available in different operating systems. So here we got that opportunity. So you can switch this on. So it will get the time zone automatically from the service provider, the internet service provider. Otherwise, you can change. So that's your first change, right? So here you can change. Now plus 5:30, that's Sri Javardhanapura. UTC, that's 0 plus 5:30. You should learn that, right? Right. Then we set the time zone and the date and time. So change. You can adjust the time and the date here. March 27, 2024, time 8:14. So if you want to make changes, you can simply make the changes and apply it. But anyway, my computer is automatically synchronized with the internet. So the company server, so it will give you the correct time, very exact time. So computer works here according to the UTC time formats, right? Now, so I need to, this is just one example, right? So let me stop the share for the moment, right? So why we need to format the computer? So after we need to set the computer using, we need to set up the computer, we need to install operating system. Why? We need to make use of the computing features, right, of a computer, right? So what do you mean by formatting a computer, right? So there are two types basically. There's a hardware format also there, right? So when you're formatting the computer, so let's say this is your system unit and internal hard disk is here somewhere. So I will draw a little bit. So this is internal hard disk, where we're going to install operating system, right? So this is your hard disk, right? So initially it's blank, nothing. right? Nothing. So even if you on the computer, so it will give you some text because there are some programs running in the motherboard. So it will give, and it says no operating system found. That's all it can do. So we need to install operating system now. Operating system, you know now Windows. Let's say we're going to install Windows 10, right? Windows 10. So we need to get Windows 10 from Microsoft. We need to get it from the Microsoft organization or the reseller, maybe in shop. So you need to pay for that software. So they will provide some activation key. That's a legal code where it will activate your operating system, because these are proprietary things, Bhutala. So you can't, it's not nice. So there are some places available. So you can make illegal copies. So it's not nice, and it's illegal also, right? That's why it's called illegal copies, pirated copies, right? So you need to purchase genuine software from Microsoft, right? So in developed countries, maybe Western countries, that's where it's selling illegal software are banned. So you can't do it. So they will put cases against you, right? They will it's considered as a cyber crime, right? It's aparadya. So you can't sell. So it's a violation of copyright, right? Right. So it's controlled by the law. So you need to purchase a genuine copy of Windows. So it will come with the activation key. So you can install Windows 10 to the computer. So installing is something different thing. So if you get time, I will show you how to install operating system, right? So it's not in your book, unfortunately, right? So that kind of practicals are not given. So if you get time, so if you could complete our sessions before your exam, so if you get spare time, so I will show you how to install Windows 10. So it will be so more practical for you, right? So here we need to put all this Windows 10 here first, right? Here. So we'll put Windows 10 here. Then once you start the computer, it will take you to the desktop. That's the starting point of Windows 10. I have shown you my desktop. So that's called desktop. It's the starting entry point to the computer. And on top of the here, we install operating system now. Now your operating system is in the hard disk. Right? This is internal hard disk. Now operating system is ready. So now you can install whatever softwares you want. So what are the softwares you know? Tell me one software. Baputa, Manuladu, tell me any software you know. Why? That much silence. Hmm? Now, what's the software you use to connect to our classes now?
Zoom.
Zoom. Zoom is a software, no? So, can Zoom work without operating system?
No.
No. So, that's what I was asking. So, first of all, you need this base software, operating system to work Zoom OS. Now, you got the concept? So, likewise, maybe YouTube, maybe Microsoft Word, maybe Excel, maybe something else, because there are so many billions of software. But to execute software, you need what? Operating system first. So on top of operating system, we can install software. Just like Zoom.
Sir, is Google a software?
Google is an organization where they develop software.
Okay, sir.
right? It's an organization. It's a company, just like Microsoft. So they develop Windows operating system. Likewise, Google, right? Google develops so much of software, and they are one of famous software is Google Chrome, where you can browse the internet. Understood? Google Chrome is very popular software. It's a web browser. So you can browse the internet using Google Chrome, right? You know Google Chrome, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Similarly, Microsoft also developed web browsers. That's called Microsoft Internet Explorer or Edge browser, right? So there are so same different companies develop uh, software. Maybe similarities are there. The type of software are same, like web browsers developed by several companies, several organizations, right? Here, Microsoft. They develop Microsoft Edge as their browser, and Google develop Chrome as their browser. So they will provide you so much of new things, right? So to be more competitive, right? Here. Now software. You got software. Now you can make use the operating system, right? So why? So this is a fresh hard disk. We installed operating system. So what's the benefit of installing fresh operating system? So I want to install Windows 10 freshly to a computer. So what are the benefits we can get? So your computer, so let's say you got old computer with the operating system. Old in the sense maybe now it's used so much of time, so many users use, so there are so plenty of files and you can see there are maybe viruses inside that one. So what you can do, right? You take that computer, format it. So it will erase everything in your computer. It will erase. So once erase, what will happen? Even operating system will go off. So you erase everything here, no? So if you erase everything, even operating system will go off. Now what's the first step you need to do, Hibaputa? Install what?
Install Windows 10.
Yes, that's the operating system. You need to install operating system, right? Manula,
Yes.
got the point, right? So if you erase everything in the hard disk, so to make use the computer, so first of all you need to install. That's the first step. Installed operating system. Now you know so much of operating systems. So I'm sure you know, right? Operating system. One of any operating. No, Windows 10 is so popular. So and Windows 11. So we can install Windows first, right? Then we install the software. So what's the benefit? So now this hard disk does not contain any
Viruses.
virus files, malicious, all documents, maybe, right? So maybe,
Storage.
yeah, storage will be cleared. So you get very fresh look. So computer will work faster. Why? It's freshly installed. So no other issues with the software crashes. No, everything will be eliminated. So you get fresh look, right? So if you get maybe used computer from somewhere, so you need to erase everything and put the operating system and format. So we were discussing about the formatting. After installing operating system only, we need to change the time zone, time, preferences, currencies, everything, right? So first of all, we need to install operating system, right? So you can update all the software. So once install the operating system, once format the operating system, so you can install operating system and you can update your you can install and update your software, right? Uh, Maybe you can schedule new activities, right? So you can update the operating system. So even so they don't simply provide Windows 11. So time to time they will send you updates, right? So those updates can do several important things, right? Maybe it will solve some bugs, right? Some issues inside the operating system. So they will release new patch. It's called patch, right? Patching, right? So we can install on top of this update. That's called updating operating system. Even software also we can update. Have you seen this Zoom? Sometimes it's getting updated before connecting to the lesson. It's getting updated, right? Sometimes, right? So softwares get updated. Always they will, the computer engineers, they develop, they resolve some issues or they develop new versions to uh, give you more features. So they will send us updates to the base software, right? So it will update time to time. It will update. So that's a very good practice to keep your update the software, right? So then you will have very latest features. So maybe some issues, the bugs will be resolved, right? The bugs have been resolved with that update. So likewise, right here. So now you know about the operating system, now you know about the software. And so once you install operating system, first thing you need to activate that operating system. Otherwise, it will always say it's a illegal copy. It's not activated. It won't say illegal copy. It will prompt you to activate the key. So that's why purchasing original software is required. So you will get some sort of key, right? A, B, C, D, something key. So you need to enter here. So they will provide the space to enter that key. Then once validated, so they will accept. So it's an original key and it will be activated. Now you can make use the full features of the operating system. So that's how operating system comes, right? Then you can install the software. Maybe there are licensed softwares, maybe free softwares. Even operating systems, there are free operating systems, but Windows is not free, right? Linux, you get so much of Linux flavors for free of cost. But maybe it's not so familiar. Right? You can use those softwares, but not familiar. So that depends on the market capability of the organization, right? So this very familiar. Microsoft Windows 10, so family, so popular. So people develop so much of software on top of Windows than the Linux operating system. Even though it's free, sometimes you will get stuck with lacking software. Now it's improving, but still, right? So now you understood the operating system thing, Putala, right? You get fresh hard disk
Yes.
to install operating system, then you install software. Now your computer is ready. So after installing the operating system, first thing you need to activate the software, the operating system. Then you need to format the regional settings. Now we have seen changing the date and time and the time zone. Two things we have seen. And let me show you currency and its format. Changing the currency and format. Let me share the screen again. Right. Similarly, you can use this region option, right? And so here, there are so much of customization. Windows display language, it's United States English, as I said. So if you are a French person, right? So you can add language here, right? See, even Sri Lanka, Sinhalese, Tamil is available, Sinhala. See, it's available now, right? Sinhala, it's a Unicode language, right? So maybe French. France is Canada. So it's so there are so many variations, right? With that. So even English, right? There are so much of differences. So Australian English, uh, in Canadian English, Caribbean, Indian, Ireland. So there are some slight variations with the time format because British they use DDMMYY, date, month, year format. Maybe these are examples, right? So US English use other way around. Month comes first. So likewise, maybe your keyboard changes, right? There are some keys. So if you make it UK layout, so the @ sign or the symbols of the keyboard might be changed. So you need to first check your keyboard type accordingly. Otherwise, you will press some button, so your uh, the output will be different, right? So likewise, so you need to perfectly understand the before installing the operating system, you need to understand the understand your keyboard layout. Accordingly, you need to add the. So I got the United States based keyboard, UK, US based. So that's why I am using English US. So even you can add the language, right? Language pack, speech recognition. So there are few more options, right? Basic typing, handwriting, so text to speak. So that's depend on your uh, computer capabilities, right? And country or region, I set it for United States, right? I said you right. I'm not going to use Sinhala as my preferred language, so I'm going to use English, and it's US English that's very popular, right? So I keep this region settings as United States, and here format. So I use the recommended format as United States format, right? And here format. So this one actually you can see in book page number 13, right? There are formats. So as I said, see now here I'm using United States format here, and the short date comes like month, date, 4 years. And year you should represent in 4 numbers. It's like 2024. So MDYYYY. So let me now tell me today's date in this format.
27 March 27 3 2024.
I need in this format. MDYY. M means month. So first 3 here, right? March, day 27th, right? Ibaputa, got this?
Yes, 27.
All right, okay. Month is that third, day 27th, year in 4 digits. 20, 24, right? And there are few more things. See, you can see the screen, right? So even you can set like MMDDYY. So here representing 2 digits, that's 24. Here MMDDYY, right? So you can set the preference and the time, hour, minute, that's all. Here, hour, minute, and seconds here. And the first day of the week, it's Sunday, right? See the examples here. So they have given the examples. See short date, 3/27/2024. That's what we were. So you can see in the board, right? Long date. So Wednesday, March 27. So this is the format they use for the long date. So DDDD here, MMMM, March right? Day 27 and the year 2024. Short time 8:34 p.m. TT means AM or PM, right here. Long time 8:34:00. That they included seconds also and PM here. And the first day of the week Sunday. So there are different formats with different countries. So accordingly, you need to change these things. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. In that country, you need to find out what's their preference, what's their regional settings, right? They might use instead of this, right? So if you change this, there are so much of variation, right? See. So if you change this, maybe you can change it to tell me one language, French. French, France. Let's say French, Denmark, or French, France is there, no? Right? See, change. Can you see the change? Manuladio, Ibaputa? See here?
Yes, sir.
So it changed. So it converted into this first day of the week. I don't know this. But if you know French, you should understand. See? So it changed. So if you change French, so maybe height, so this is also same. So maybe convert into, let's say Sinhala is there or not? Yes, Sinhala. See?
Sir, Lundi means Monday.
Sorry?
Lundi means Monday. The first day.
Okay, first day. They start the week from Monday, no?
Yes.
Right. So you see, even if I change it to Sinhala, see, the first day is Monday. So according to the US style, it's first day is Sunday, no? They are given. So see, change into the local language, right? So now I will cancel this because otherwise it will change my entire, it will mess up my everything. So without applying, so I change. So now Windows display language, it's recommended, it's United States, right? So this is my format, right? I think this is enough for today. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. So few things you learn, no? Right? And then currency and its format. Right. Sorry. I will show you the currency format also. It should be there. Format, additional settings. So go to additional settings, right? See here from this regional tab. Now you can practice, right? Manuladu, Ibabuta, you can practice now, right? Go to region settings and use additional settings. Here you can see the number, decimal point, decimal symbol, that's comma or dot maybe, right? Digit grouping symbol, that's comma, it's dot, decimal point dot, and number of digits after decimal 2, that's the default one. Digit groupings are like each 3 numbers we divide using comma so that we can easily read and understand, right? Negative sign, that's minus sign. Negative number format, minus, that way. Display landing 0 pointer, list separator, comma, measurement, US measurement that we use standard measurements, ISO system that's using US meters, kilometers and all. We don't use miles, gallons per liter likewise. අපි ඒවා use කරන්නේ those are metric system. So we use ISO system that kilometer meter, right? Standard digits 0 to 9, use negative digits never, right? And the currency. So currency symbol it's dollar, and pound is also available, euro is available, right? Not only pound, dollar symbol, that euro symbol also, maybe euro or pound, right? And currency format, decimal number, right? So time, this is the time format and the date format, right? So you can change all those things. But if you mistakenly change, so there's an option to reset everything, right? See, so like bottom of every tab, you get reset option here, right? You can change into the default. So maybe accidentally you'll change, no? So you can go around, but don't apply if you don't want, like it will mess up things sometimes. So if it mess up, you just go and reset it, so it will be back, right? So those are the currency now and number format change in places, right? So options. So here you can change the date time, and with the additional settings, you can change the currency and the numbers. And date time option also here, right? You can do more customization, right? Okay. So hope this is more than enough for today, right? So we came up to the second page from lesson number 2. We came up to the 13th page. So next day we'll start the file attributes. So we are gradually moving into the files, and the third day onwards we'll start the hardware identification of computer hardware ports, and also it's a very interesting lesson, right? So we can understand all the computer standard topic, we would say, right? So computer hardware concept. So it's very interesting subject. So anyway, file attributes we'll finish next week, and afterwards the third week onwards, or week after, we'll start the hardware part, right? Sorry. So we'll stop for today, right? So few students missing today, right? So anyway, so I will share the recording with them. So if they requested, right? And we'll stop for today, right, Puta? Iba Puta, Manula. So it's difficult today.
Okay.
No, sir.
Manula, is it difficult today?
No, sir.
No, it's very easy, right? You can remember, right? Try to do some practicals. Try to understand the different time zone changes and all, right? Then we'll see you. Hope to see you next Thursday, right? Wednesday, right? Okay. Enam Putala, good night. Aiboan. God bless.
Good night, sir.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
You're
you, sir.
welcome. Good night.